Well, society is royally screwed. Another day, more misery. There's the inflation, the high cost of everything. Right now, McDonald's is a luxury, fast food is a luxury, real estate is insane. People are spending immense amounts on just trying to afford basic necessities, but we all have to continue on. We all have to take care of ourselves as adults. The US dollar continues to sink rapidly. The value deteriorates. This is all done by design because the United States has $34 trillion in debt, a little over actually 34 trillion in debt, and it just keeps on going up every single year. And it's like, I get it, but Gen Z just keeps getting worse. So Gen Z does not want to go to school. Gen Z is actually dropping out of high school at alarming rates. Yes, high school, they just can't be bothered. Now they're beginning to skip college, and college is not a good decision for most people. The average person shouldn't be going to college, but high school is kind of a must. It's and the thing is, like, our high school diplomas, when we went to school and we graduated from school 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, they were different. There was rigor. You weren't getting that diploma unless you had a basic skill set. The millennials were the last generation that were held to these standards and punished if we didn't perform properly. Like if and Gen Z, on the other hand, no. So I saw a video pop up. This one is about Emma Chamberlain. She's a very famous YouTuber. Some of you will know who she is. Emma is actually only 23 years old, so she is a Gen. And Emma actually dropped out of high school. Now, she recently went back and addressed the issue, but this is many years later. And if you listen to her perspective on education and going to school and getting an education, don't get me wrong. I understand hardships. I understand being stressed out. We all went through school. We all went through people who, made us feel uncomfortable. We all suffered through school. School is hard. School is very, very hard. High school is a miserable place. And sometimes, a part of it is maybe you need to change schools. And sometimes people have to do that multiple times. But the thing about high school is that it kind of prepares you for the real world and understanding you're going to have to deal with a lot of people that you don't like in the real world. So if you can't handle high school, trust me, you're not going to be able to handle the real world unless you think you're going to be able to sink into this curated little environment, you know? Let's go ahead and jump into this video because I think that her perspective is problematic. Now, she actually finished she recently got her high school diploma, but this is after dropping out like 7 years ago. Okay, let's go ahead and jump on in.
Emma Chamberlain is officially a high school graduate. More than 7 years after leaving high school to focus on her YouTube career, the 23-year-old receives her diploma from Notre Dame High School in Belmont, California. Emma announces the exciting news on her Instagram May 31st with a series of photos of herself clad in a white graduation robe and matching hat, proudly showing off her diploma while standing under a banner reading Titans 2019, the year of her initial graduating class. Captioning the post, "I got my high school diploma." Emma launched her wildly successful YouTube channel in 2016 during her sophomore year of high school. In a 2017 video, the then 16-year-old explained to followers the reason behind her decision to drop out of school.
Sometimes I'd pull up to school, I'd be sitting in the car, and I'd be bawling my eyes out. And I just couldn't go in, and I'd have to drive home. I don't know exactly what it is about school and what about it made me so depressed, but it was so bad.
She then went on to admit that after finding so much joy in content creation, she knew she couldn't go back to being unhappy in high school.
I remember there were like multiple nights where I pulled all-nighters trying to be able to do YouTube in school because for me, YouTube was what kept me sane in a way. So it was like, for me, I'd rather not sleep and get a video up because getting that video up is the only thing that gives me an ounce of happiness, while being at school literally made me want to die.
And while the career change had a positive impact on her mental health, Emma acknowledged that she hoped to one day finish high school. noting that there are plenty of alternative options for students who feel like they don't fit in the traditional school system.
You have to, show up to school Monday through Friday and sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day because that's what you're supposed to do, because that's what society says you're supposed to do. And I understand, because that's what we're all programmed to think. But there are so many alternative options. And if you're struggling like me, there's so many other opportunities and ways that you can get your diploma and ways that you can graduate high school, go off to college, do whatever your heart desires that does not require sitting in a classroom from 8 a.m. to 3, and that's what I'm working with right now.
Congrats, Emma.
Now, guys, I agree that there are many other options to seek out if you're not able to handle the traditional 9 to 5. Well, did she say 9 to 5 or whatever? Basically being in the classroom for most of the day. Did she say 9? Did she call it 9 to 5? Because that's kind of what this is about. School basically helps you to develop a pattern and accept the notion that you're going to spend many hours working throughout your life. And there's going to have to be consistency. I hear people like Elon Musk talking about a universal high income, and that's going to replace actual work. This is nonsense, because Elon will be the first one screaming and hollering when people don't want to come into the office and do actual work and build his spaceships. Okay? So this is total crap. This is, it's easy for these people, for Gen Zers, to sit around and basically dish on work and saying that they don't want to work, or they don't want to go to school and have to be at school for long hours. And trust me, I relate to this. The thing is that when you become an adult, you have to work very long hours. Mayumi often talks about this. Mayumi works some crazy hours sometimes. Crazy hours. And I've spoken to her about that before. And it's, she'll watch some of the videos, just like many of you guys. You guys do the same things. And I actually talked to her about this privately. And this is one of the reasons why I'm infuriated with Gen Z. I take a lot of pride, even if you guys don't like my videos, you don't like the quality, some of you hate my content, and yet you're still here. But I do try my best with my videos. And I also think I like the fact that I'm providing value. For example, I know there are people who are working in security and they're listening to my videos, and my videos will help them get through the day. They wake up and they go and they pick up they put on my videos, and they'll jump into a playlist and they'll just chill. And they'll go do their sets, go work out. And this is, they find ways to get through the day. But they still have to do their work, right? This is the same across all jobs. Doesn't matter if you're an emergency room doctor. It doesn't matter if you're a security guard. It doesn't matter if you are a garbage man. You have to be consistent. You have to be able to wake up at a certain time and a lot of the times do the jobs that no one else wants to do. Gen Z doesn't want to wake up at early in the morning. They don't want to get up early in the morning. Let someone else worry about that, or let machines take care of that, or the world will find a way to accommodate them. No, someone else will have to do the work that you don't want to do. And it's great that Emma has been able to find something that works for her. But I think this is a terrible example and a message for Gen Zers, because it's only kind of telling them more and more that if they don't do it, someone else will, And it's like, oh, it'll just magically get done. Like Gen Z, many of them don't even understand. And this was a problem that started with millennials, because I'm not going to leave the millennials out. And it just became absolutely worse with Gen Z, because there was a time where you had millennials saying things like, they don't know why, why we're still, control alt deleting animals for food, for meat, when there's plenty of meat at the supermarket. There were literally millennials saying stuff like this. Not a ton, but there were some of them that were saying it. And, of course, we just kind of glossed over it. But now with Gen Z, it's kind of like, it's like a renounding stupidity. Like, yeah, man, why you got to dispatch those animals, man? We've got plenty of food at the supermarket, man. What's wrong with you, man? Man, this is wrong, man. This is wrong. Guys, who do they sound like? They sound like damn hippies. They are the modern day. They are the modern day hippie. Gen Zers are the modern day hippies. And it's a truly horrible thing. All right, it's a horrible thing. These people are complete and utter jokers. They're an absolute shame, absolute shame. You know, and I am, like you guys, as you guys have seen countless times, I'm absolutely disgusted with their terrible behavior. All right, and many people have written to me and talked about, what their experiences were when they were growing up, and what they saw off the damn hippies, right? And their behavior, how they were in society, how they lived, very lazy, not too bright, very untidy and unkept. Oh my gosh, unbelievable! Like there's some people who have damn near PTSD from remembering the good for nothing hippies, and they match up with the good for nothing Gen Zers. Look at this. Look what Rude said. Gen Z is the modern day version of the hippie. I still remember them clearly. They were shifty, lazy, smoked weed, had sex all over the place, and dressed like homeless people, and were untidy and completely untrustworthy. Okay? This is Gen Z. This is Gen Z. And they'll sit around screeching and hollering over money and not getting their fair share and their cut, and saying that they're going to steal back what the boomers stole from them. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. While we're all basically caught in the middle. We're stuck between the two worst generations. It's funny because before Gen Z came along, millennials were considered, the worst of the generations. And now, and they said that, Gen X was stuck between the two worst generations, the millennials and the boomers. And now Gen Z came along, and now it's Gen X and the millennials stuck between the two worst generations, Gen Z Gen Z and the boomers. And the thing about Gen Z is they haven't reached their final form yet. Okay? They haven't gone like they're definitely modern day hippies, but they're going to go full blown hippie. Like guys, they're gonna be walking around like the damn hippies, dressed in like dirty clothing, like literally living like this. Like a lot of them are already doing it, but it's gonna become a national trend. Like as these people enter into their 30s, the ones who are in their 20s and their teens are going to be entering into their 20s. The ones who are in their late 20s are going to be entering into their 30s. This is the lifestyle they're going to be living. All right? 100% lifestyle they're going to be living. And we already know if there's a draft, they're going to all dodge it, just like the boomers did. They are 100% the boomers. 100% the boomers. I would say even worse than the boomers, because in truth, the boomers did not have the perfect lives. I mean, they had a lot, they had more, and they threw away everything. They squat. It's like they made our society into this. But Gen Z is beyond ridiculous. They think that everything in life is handed to you. They don't want to work anymore. They are worse than the boomers. They don't want to work. They just want to consume. And I'm going to tell you guys something. If Gen Z was given the option and they were allowed to just keep consuming, it would never be enough. Elon Musk talks about, a basic high income. And, with this amount of income, it will, people will no longer have to work, and they'll work it'll be a hobby. Working will become like a hobby. This is idiotic. This is idiot thinking. It would never be enough. It's like, oh, well, everyone will have just enough, so much that, they won't want any more. This is nonsense. Gen Z's desire and lust for consumerism will never end. They will always want more. They will live check to check. So they'll spend everything they receive, and then demand more. If they're getting $10,000 a month, they'll want $20,000 and start screaming about inflation. Even if you were able to eliminate it, they would still scream about it. Okay? Because no amount of money will ever be enough for a Gen Zer. Their inner core is consumerism, just like the boomers, and they have no real purpose. And their mental health is only going to continue to deteriorate because their focus is on money so much that they're not focusing on their spiritual needs. Spiritual needs are very important. Many people say that I'm crazy for saying this. You cannot live by bread alone. You have to have something that drives you. You have to have a purpose in life. Many of you that now have chosen to walk away, you worked in your life. You've had a life, you've had experiences. So those of you that have the ability to walk away, you've already had an experience in life. Okay, so now you can make that choice if you want to walk away and relax and take it easy, but you've already paid your price to get to where you are. Okay, Jen, so you are grateful for what you have, and you live, and many of you live, simple lives of luxury. You live well under your, you live well under your means. This is not Gen Z. They will live far above their means. Even if they have lots of money, they will still live far above their means and not understand that, nothing in life is easy. The more free you give them, the more they'll want, because the center of their lives is consumerism. And it will only sink them deeper into depression and sadness and despair, because no amount of consumerism will ever make them truly happy. And then the thing is, with Gen Z, it's about having more than the other person. So if everyone has this, like, think about the logistics of this. Someone's going to have to wait on another person. Gen Z wants to lay by the pool and be served cocktail, right? But who's going to serve the cocktail to you if all of you have tons of money? The robots will. This is setting very, very unrealistic expectations. What do you guys think, guys? Society is screwed. I mean, yes, wages have stagnated. Real estate, the idea of owning real estate is pretty much be gone. Inflation is definitely is leading to a lot of these hardships within our society, and it's creating a lot of disparities. But regardless of that, life, we always have our ups and downs. Do I think the society is going to hell? Do I think the society is screwed? Absolutely. But this is not. But Gen Zs believe that, okay, well, we're just going, because everything's screwed, we're just going to pester and pillage, until we get what we want, is a joke. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Don't forget, I have another channel called Men Walking Away, where I release daily videos. If you want even more of the Angry Guy content, you can head over to Men Walking Away. There's a link to in the description of the video. Go subscribe, enjoy the content. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Do you agree society is screwed? Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men Walking Away. And cheers.